So within the next couple of months, we hope to bring a complete financing solution for the Australian project to the market, and then we'll be in full-scale construction mode. So this time next year, we should be in production with the expanded facility if all goes to plan.
Welcome back to the Proactive Studio. I'm Jonathan Jackson, and joining me now is Element 25 Managing Director Justin Brown to discuss regulatory approval for the expansion of its Butcherberg Manganese project in Western Australia. Justin, it's good to see you again.
Thanks, Jonathan. Nice to be back.
Now, let's talk about these regulatory approvals. What do they mean for the company and the project moving forward?
Yes, as your listeners probably are aware, there's a very high level of regulatory oversight on mining projects in Western Australia. So we've been moving our way through those various steps. We announced the mining proposal a couple of months ago, and yesterday's announcement was the announcement that the works approval has been approved. That's the final piece in the puzzle from a regulatory perspective. So really, that paves the way to the start of construction and implementation of the expansion project as defined in the feasibility study that was published in January. So really important milestone. It's boring stuff, but it's really important stuff, and it's a key part of the journey.
So you've got these in place now. The project will expand with these regulatory approvals in place. How do they impact the company's HPMSM facility in Louisiana?
So the main focus on the expansion is to generate a standalone cash flow generating business selling manganese concentrate into traditional steel markets. Obviously, as your listeners are probably aware, manganese is a key ingredient in steel, so it goes in lockstep with iron ore in terms of economic activity and its consumption in construction and the like. But obviously, a really important part of the purpose of manganese is in new energy applications. So it's a key cathode raw material, critical raw material in the eyes of the US, Australia, Europe, and the like. And part of the reason for that is it's a critical part of the makeup of electric vehicle batteries and grid storage batteries too. So we will be taking a portion of the production from the Butcherberg expansion to our planned refinery in Louisiana to convert it into a product called high purity manganese sulfate monohydrate, or HPMSM for short, and that's a key raw material for battery manufacturing. So the feedstock from Butcherberg is part of what allows us to produce that downstream refined product in a circular economy, low carbon, and highly ESG compliant fashion.
And you mentioned the feasibility study there. Can you talk us through the key financial figures from that and what we're looking at there?
Yeah, so pleasingly, it's a relatively modest capex of around 65 million Aussie dollars, and that will generate strong IRRs and cash flows of around 70 million over a long life. So some key steps to achieve that were the drill out of the inferred resources at the project last year, which was converted to a upgraded reserve statement in January alongside the feasibility. So we've now got a clear pathway to an 18-year mine life, generating an average of around 70 million Aussie dollars in free cash over that period, and a construction capital cost of about 65 million. So fantastic metrics, and going to be a really important part of the growth strategy of the project, of the company, I should say, for the next decade and beyond.
And another selling point is the major automotive companies that you're working with. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's all in the public domain, but Stellantis and General Motors have been very keen supporters of our refinery project in Louisiana. So they've committed a combined 115 million US in funding to that project. And that now sits alongside the recently awarded grant from the DOE under the Manufacturing and Energy Supply Chain Program. So that $166 million grant dovetails with the GM and Stellantis funding, and obviously core pillars to the project financing for that refinery construction in Louisiana in partnership with those two leading OEMs.
So Justin, what can we expect next?
Yeah, look, I think current focus is on project financing closeout for the expansion plan. We've got to obviously find the balance of funding, which is a relatively modest amount of 75 million or so US for the US refinery. In Australia, we are looking to partner with NAIF to provide some of the debt financing for the project, and obviously we'll couple that with other backfill financing, either in the form of equity, royalty, convertible notes, or the like. So within the next couple of months, we hope to bring a complete financing solution for the Australian project to the market, and then we'll be in full-scale construction mode. So this time next year, we should be in production with the expanded facility if all goes to plan.
Lot to look forward to in a big 12 months coming up. Justin, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's going to be busy, but I think the returns are there for shareholders. So thanks for everyone's support, and look forward to new announcements in coming weeks.